In today's episode, we're getting up close and personal with the sun in your astrology chart. This goes way beyond your zodiac sign. It's about pinpointing where your leadership or your CEO style really shines and what is driving your business day in and day out. Grab your chart if you have it or if you know it, and let's dive into boosting your CEO power. Welcome back. I'm Sophia Palace, and I'm an astrologer, copywriter, and online business strategist here to help you decode astrology to use it as a powerful tool in your business. Today, we're talking about the sun in your personal astrology chart or your business astrology chart if you have one. The sun in your company chart or your personal chart, if you are a solopreneur, represents the core energy, the identity, and the life force of your business. In a business chart, the sun absolutely represents the boss or the CEO of that company. And as I said, if you are a solopreneur or a small business, the sun in your chart is still super important to your success and the way that you express your leadership style, your CEO energy. It's also where you can go to for a shot of inspiration and vitality in your business, because this is where you and your business shine. And there may be some strategies there for how you can recharge that vitality, that shininess for your business success. I just want to preface this whole episode by saying these are still generalizations. It always is best to look at the birth chart as a whole rather than just one isolated part. But I still think looking at these parts can be really helpful to understand the archetypes we're working with and whether they're playing out in your business already, or maybe there are some insights there for you to harness to amplify in your business as well. I love the way Georgia Stathis describes the sun in her book, Business Astrology 101. If we look at the sun, this is me paraphrasing, if we look at the sun from a mythological perspective, it represents the search for the Holy Grail. It represents the search for self-actualization, right? The Holy Grail and self-actualization being the same thing. We are all in some way searching for ourselves and our authentic expression. And the essence of that search is part of our sun sign. It's encoded into our sun sign and the house that it's placed in. You also want to consider the relationship the sun has with another really important planet for business, that is Mars, which is your drive and your motivation in business. And I have a whole other episode on Mars and your best business strategy, which I will link to in the show notes, and I will drop a card on the YouTube video for you to check that one out too, because that's really important to understand. But today, we are just going to focus on the sun in all of the 12 houses, or through all of the 12 houses of the birth chart. So if you know your chart or you have it handy, listen up, because you are going to get my take on how to boost your CEO energy by working with your sun sign. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the houses of the birth chart, if you're new to astrology, I recommend you go and listen to episode 10 of my podcast, which is an explanation of the 12 houses of the astrology chart. I will link to that in the show notes or the description box as well for you to go and look at that. But I'm going to assume that you have a general idea of how the houses work, and we're still going to go through and describe each of them as it relates to your CEO energy in business and which house the sun was in when you were born. For this to work for you, you do need to know your rising sign, because the rising sign is going to set up the 12 houses of your birth chart, right? That's the first house. And after that, all the other houses follow around in an anti-clockwise direction. So if you want to find out your rising sign, you need to know the time and the place you were born, and you can go and check out a YouTube video I have on setting up a free astrology chart if you don't have one already. Here we go. This is the sun, your sun sign through the houses. So if you have the sun in the first house, this is the place of the initiator. You are the starter, right? You are direct, you are assertive, you are self-motivated, and this all plays out in your CEO style. You're probably a natural leader, and this is regardless of the zodiac sign. I just want to make this clear. This is about the house placement. So regardless of the zodiac sign, you're a natural leader who sets trends, and you're not afraid to step into new things. You tend to lead by example. You have a strong personal presence, especially that sun on the first house is often got a real focus on it. So there's a lot of energy on the persona. People really notice you when you walk into a room. So this is excellent for in business where you need to start new projects or you need to lead new initiatives. Your leadership is authentic and it's transparent. People can see it, like they can feel your energy. But something you might want to be aware of when it comes to recharging your vitality is you need to constantly step into a new personal challenge, right? Or be stepping into personal challenges and professional challenges to keep your leadership fresh and invigorated. Like this is a leading energy. So if you're feeling a bit stagnant, it might be time to start something new. And that could be a personal hobby. Just getting something started again is kind of like your happy place. And starting projects. If you're a service provider, maybe you're great at getting things off the ground for people or helping people get things off the ground. Maybe that's part of what you do. If you have a second house placement of the sun, so the sun sign is in the second house in your chart, you are the stabilizer and you're also really great with money and finances and resources. You're practical, you're resourceful, and you're value oriented. So the leadership style here, or the CEO style here, is focused on building this stable and secure business because you value reliability and productivity. If you are a CEO or a solopreneur, your leadership style is to stabilize. It is to find the value. It is to look for the money. It is to be reliable and generate this sense in the business of reliability and productivity. That is where you kind of shine. And a great tip for you to recharge that energy is to check in on your business's financial health regularly. And also check in on your personal connection to your work and your business. How stable does it feel to you? How valuable does your work feel right now? Like really keep checking in on that to stay grounded and stay focused on what you're building. If the sun is in the third house in your chart, you are a communicator. You are likely curious, adaptable. You like to share a whole lot of information. Your leadership style is communicative and open. You're great at networking and managing the communications within the team and building rapport within your team as well. You probably thrive in a dynamic and fast-paced environment. The sun in the third house is used to lots of activity, things moving all the time, ideas floating past and, all of that kind of thing. It's great when you are managing multiple projects. Maybe it's a content business that you're building. Maybe it's a public relations business. Those are great things for the sun in the third house. It's all about interpersonal and communication skills with the sun there. So a tip to recharge your energy is to engage in social activities or potentially short courses, something that is going to spark new ideas and give you a fresh perspective. Like you love to socialize to get like fresh energy and to get revitalized. If you've got a small team, maybe it's also organizing a bit of a social event that might also recharge you. Or maybe it's just going to more social events. Like those kinds of things can help the sun in the third house, get the energy back for its leadership style and what it's trying to achieve in business. If you have the sun in the fourth house, you are a natural protector. You're creating a safe space, right? For your clients, for your business. You have this caring, supportive, and emotionally aware approach. So your leadership style or your CEO style is all about inclusion you want it to feel like a family. You want it to feel like you've got these strong relationships with your team or with the people that you are working with, maybe they're contractors, even your clients. You want to feel like you have this lovely kind of family-like dynamic going on and have this supportive company culture or business culture. So it's really important for you, if you're trying to recharge this energy, if you're feeling a bit jaded about things, or things aren't flowing as easily as you'd like them to really spend some time at home with your family, or rejuvenate yourself, like feel nurtured. That's also going to boost that sun sign energy, that leadership energy. For you, it might be recharging with the family, it might be recharging on your own, nourishing yourself, doing some self-care. That sort of thing is really helpful to like regenerate, revitalize that sun energy. The fifth house, the sun in the fifth house, is a creator. It is creative, it is confident, it is expressive. So your leadership or CEO style is charismatic, it's inspiring, it's often encouraging innovation or creativity and creative problem solving, right? It does like to be in the spotlight, the sun in the fifth house. And that means it can also be very motivating to the team, to the people, that you're working with. It can also want to take a risk, or be more likely to want to take some risks in business, and to lead with that attitude of let's just give this a go. This is a perfect kind of energy for businesses that need creative direction, that need to innovate, that need, even to launch, like launching regularly. This type of sun sign in the fifth is probably quite comfortable with more visibility and those kind of like getting out there and launching things more frequently. So a recharge tip for you, if you are feeling your vitality is a little low in leadership, is to dive into creative pursuits outside of work, to keep that creative spark, that innovative spark alive, to feel as though you're creating, for yourself as well as for your business. Okay, sixth house. The sun in the sixth house is the organizer. Now, usually this person, this leader, this CEO, is quite analytical, quite diligent, and quite health conscious. Those are the qualities of the sixth house. So the leadership style here is focused on efficiency and precision, and getting things done, and refining the process of getting things done, right? This doesn't mean that you are the most organized person in the world. It means that you are really good at figuring out what doesn't work and working out a better way to do it. And this applies in life and in business. But if this is if you have the sun in the sixth, then in business, you are going to be always iterating, always improving processes, always improving what you're working on. And that's your leadership style too, to go like, okay, this is what we've tried before. Now let's try this and see if we can make some tweaks to what we've done before to make it better this time. The sun in the sixth house can also do a lot, can get a lot done. It's kind of a bit of a, it's got a workhorse energy, can do a lot, it can cover a lot of ground. And so with your leadership style, you just need to be also aware that maybe you are able to do a lot more than others in your team. So a recharge tip, if you have the sun in the sixth house, is to be aware of tweaking and optimizing your own daily routine to enhance your personal productivity and prevent burnout. Like, don't allow yourself to get to that point, because you can do so much. Don't allow yourself to get burnt out in the process. Make sure you're still looking after your own daily routines and habits, and incorporating all of the good stuff into your day-to-day, so that you don't get burnt out in the business. Okay, if you have the sun in the seventh house, this is the partner or the diplomat. So the traits of this sun sign energy is cooperative, it is about partnership, it is looking for harmony and balance, but it's also fantastic at building partnerships with others in business. So your leadership style is to partner with others. And that doesn't mean you have to have a business partner. That just means that you are really good at connecting with others in order to grow and to lead the business. The CEO part of you needs to be connected in partnership with others. You are great at negotiation as well, like leading negotiations. And when you need to come back to your CEO energy, remember that you're fantastic at negotiating, you're fantastic at partnership and creating that sense of harmony between, the people, yourself and the people that you work with, and potentially your clients as well. It's a great placement if you're dealing with clients or customers regularly, because you can really, the contract negotiations, the customer service, all of that stuff is quite easy and natural for a seventh house sun person. It doesn't mean that you want to be always the client face. It just means that your leadership style is that you understand those client dynamics really well and you know what to do if problems with clients arise, if customers have an issue. You are really good at negotiating the best outcome or knowing the best outcome. So a tip for people with the sun in the seventh house in business is to recharge that partnership energy by going to events. Networking for you is also really powerful, or collaborating in a workshop, or spending time with your special person, or like in one-on-one dynamics. It might be a special friend, a partner, like really recharging that part of you and energizing your interpersonal skills. This is your strength and you need to use it to recharge it in a way, to like acknowledge it again and allow it to be recharged for your business. If you have the sun in the eighth house, you are here to be a change maker, a transformer. If you have the sun in the eighth, you're often in the coaching space because it is that transformational and that space of change, right? That space where we are encouraging change in others, but also probably undergoing some change ourselves as well. So this is, quite an intense, strategic, and a resourceful place for the sun. So your leadership style can navigate complex situations. It's not afraid of challenges. It is strategic. It is resourceful. So you are great at dealing with a crisis and coaching people through a crisis, or just coaching people in general through transformative times in their lives. You are great at thinking about what you're investing in financially investing in. You are great with problem solving as a leader. So these are things that, the sun in the eighth house really does well, is understanding the problem under the problem, right? And being able to extricate those things for people and to lead in that transformative way. So a tip for you, if you are in need of a recharge, like you need to recharge your CEO energy, is to engage in activities that are going to challenge those problem solving skills, to keep that strategic mind sharp. And this may be, as again, personal challenges. Maybe it's doing puzzles. Maybe it's something that feels really simple, but also strategic to you and allows that mind to work in that strategic and transformative way. If you have the sun in the eighth, it's another one of those kind of house placements where you may need a little bit of time alone to recharge as well. If you have the sun in the ninth house, this is a visionary place. It's an exploring place, or a place of exploration. It's a place of teaching and passing on wisdom, right? So the traits of the sun in the ninth house are, there's an expansiveness to you. There is a bit of a philosopher there. You're also really aware of ethics and legal issues and that kind of thing too. You're looking at the big picture. This is your CEO game here. You are looking at the big picture and you're driven by your principles. You're also able to inspire others with this bigger picture vision and with your integrity. So There's a bit of stuff tied up in the ninth house, but it is an amazing place for you if you are teaching others, if you are expanding people's minds in some way, and if you're dealing with some sort of spiritual or philosophical subject matter. You're great at explaining that to people and allowing them to gain some wisdom through you. So, as a leader, you lead with that big picture in mind, you lead with your own philosophy. And it's excellent if you are, as I said, in the teaching or education realm, if you're in publishing, or if you're involved in expanding areas like outside of your own town or country. Even it's about like moving things into new areas, potentially overseas markets, new cultural, exploration of different cultures, that kind of thing. That's the CEO energy of the ninth house sun, is to look further, to be able to see the potential of things. So a recharge tip for the sun in the ninth house is to travel or immerse yourself in different cultures, in different philosophies, in different education, different courses that really spark some inspiration in you, to broaden your perspective and inspire some new ideas to come through. If you have the sun in the 10th house, let's face it, you are the boss, right? Definitely. You are ambitious, you are responsible, you are authoritative, right? You have the authority. Your leadership style is that you're a natural executive. You are highly driven, you are determined to succeed, you expect high standards, and you're focused on achievement. You're focused on reaching the goal. So in business, this is great if you are, obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, this is great and you're leading your team. And in any role that's going to require strong leadership and decision-making skills, you are great at this. You are great at being able to move things forward in that executive style. I mean, there is always the potential with this energy that you may lead or boss a little too hard, right? Because it's so strong in your chart. And you may also need to be aware of the energy of your team. If you have this strong 10th house sun energy, that you are driving them forward and they're feeling like they're all with you, and you're not like driving forward on your own because you're so focused on getting to the goal. It's really important for you, if you're trying to recharge this energy, that you do have some milestones to meet, that you do have personal milestones as well as business milestones, and you're keeping a check on them and you're celebrating your wins. Celebrating your wins will help you really recharge that 10th house sun energy. It loves to feel that it's achieved a goal, that it's been recognized, right? And to recognize those achievements, I should say. Do that for yourself. Celebrate those wins. Celebrate the wins of your team as well. If you have the sun in the 11th house, you are a bit of a rebel. You're an innovator, but you're also a bit of a rebel. The traits of this CEO energy is progressive, humanitarian, collaborative. So your leadership style is really focused on moving the collective forward. And that means that you are very aware of your team, the team that you have around you, and wanting to build something with others. And not in the sense of like necessarily one-to-one, like the 7th house sun person who's in partnership with people. This is more like, I'm leading a group. I'm leading a team of people for some collective purpose. I'm growing something here. So this is a great leadership energy. It is often really focused on community and building community and building a movement around an issue. This is fantastic collaboration energy as well. Great for social entrepreneurs, great for working with technology and innovating. And if you are in need of a recharge, if you've got the sun in the 11th, if you've got the sun in the 11th and you are in need of a recharge, get involved in a group like a think tank or something innovative, like an innovative group. Maybe it's an entrepreneur group, or network, to stay connected with emerging trends, technologies, movements, collective ideas. That's going to really help you stay energized. And finally, if you have the sun in the 12th house, this is often associated with the healer. It's also a visionary energy as well. The CEO or the leadership traits of this sun sign placement are empathy, intuition, and vision. So this again is another one of those spiritual houses, that more hidden house. So you might lead from behind the scenes a bit more than others. You are focused on the greater good, and you're often more aware of some subconscious factors or some hidden factors that are affecting your business. You are aware of the things that we can't see, that are underneath the business. And that can make you very powerful in business too, because you aren't just focused on the surface level things that are happening. You also know the hidden things that are happening behind the scenes in the business, and you are always improving and leading from that place of wanting to improve that. This is great if you are in the spiritual business space because of all of the intuition. You lead with your intuition. It is also often a place where we find CEOs or leaders who have a lot of their life on show, because and it's not necessarily intentional. It's because the sun is in the house of hidden things. So it can kind of spotlight the personal life of the person who has the sun in the 12th. So for that reason, you may need to keep some extra strong boundaries around yourself, your energy, your personal life, so it doesn't feel like you're overexposed, right? But this sun sign has amazing potential for leadership. It is, really, as I said, focused on leading in a way that's going to change things for the greater good as well, and really leading in a way that's going to deal with those hidden or subconscious fears and factors in a gentle way. So use your intuition and your caring nature to lead. This is a healing energy too. If you need to recharge yourself, you really could benefit from retreat. The sun in the 12th can really benefit from going on retreat, from meditation retreats or spiritual retreats, yoga retreats, allowing you to connect deeply with yourself, restore your spirit, restore your energy boundaries, all of that stuff. As I said, those things can get a little bit, more porous if you have the sun in the 12th. Okay, and that's a wrap of the sun through all of the 12 houses. I have talked about my other episode on Mars and your best business strategy, and that's through all the 12 houses. I encourage you to go and check that one out too. And if this has been interesting to you and you would love to dive deeper and get a more nuanced view of how your CEO energy can be rejuvenated in your business, how you can learn more about your own style in business and amplify all of the good stuff and manage all of the more challenging stuff, I encourage you to hop on a one-on-one call with me. The link will be in the show notes. We can either do a strategic deep dive or just a one-off session. And I also offer ongoing coaching support, which includes copywriting, coaching, and editing. I will be back next week with a roundup of Gemini energy. So stay tuned for the next installment in the Zodiac business series coming to you next week.